In answer to your question, Commissioner, we had applied for, as you know, we had applied for the Human Services Block Grant back in January of this year after meeting with you to express our interest in the Human Services Block Grant. So we had completed that application, had submitted it, and waited some period of time, and then were told that they wanted more information from us. So we had to regroup as county departments and offer more information, update our application, and on June 13th, which was earlier this week, we had gotten official notice that the block grant was approved for Lebanon County. So we are now a block grant county.
Congratulations, it's such a long time coming.
Yes, it did take quite a while, and we were sort of stressing over our human services plan, which had to be submitted, and every county submits a human services plan, and the plan components are different for a block grant county versus a non-block grant county. So we were trying to do that and meet the deadline, which I think originally was, what, July 7th? But it was very difficult to do because we didn't know which plan we were going to be submitting. And we spoke to the people at the state, and they said if you're applying to be a block grant county, the deadline is delayed. So we had to put it. We had it nearly done, but put it on a shelf until we heard. And then again, we heard this week that it was approved, and we have. I thought they were giving us 30 days, but I was told they're giving us 60 days. So it won't take us long to update the budget sheets, and we had already done 2 public hearings for it, which was a requirement. I don't know why a non-block grant county is required to have 1 hearing, a block grant county is required to have 2 hearings. So we just had the 2 public hearings anyway, just to be safe. So that part's done. We do have to make some adjustments to the budget sheets and some of the commentary within that. So
it'll be interesting to see how your funding comes through.
Yes.
With the dire situation that they are facing.
Yeah, I think it's very good for us, considering what we're hearing about the state budget. I think it's a great opportunity for us to shift funds again, and the big part that we see is that, and is that ability to shift, and exactly the way they put it in the letter. We'll be able to shift flexibly allocate funds to identify and meet locally identified needs. So that's exactly what we wanted to do, is to work together as departments in the county and shift the funds to meet the needs of the people in the community.
John has a question.
Yeah, I guess you're getting to my question, I guess. You still need to know what your final bottom line is going to be before you can divide the pie.
Yes.
Do you have kind of a working format in terms of percentages and things like that to work from, or does all that need to be worked on now?
No. What we'll get after this letter, we're anticipating we get a letter from the state that shows which, I mean, as you know, we have various pots of money in these various departments. Only certain ones are allowed to be flexed or transferred. What our plan initially was to, as we work throughout the year and get closer to the end of the fiscal year, see where the deficits are, try to backfill those deficits instead of sending back funds to the state. And eventually we hope to be able to collaborate and maybe identify some new services that we could provide, to serve the community better and to work more collaboratively. So, but for the meantime, we're not going to reallocate money up front. Throughout the fiscal year, needs of each department can change pretty dramatically. The volatile impact of the opiate overdoses and so on. And
I was just going to add that, John, there's only 2 pots of money in our office, drug and alcohol, that will be affected by being a block grant county. One's called BHSI and one's called Act 152. Those monies will be part of that block grant, like he said, flexibility. So for an example, if our office, and it's happened in the past 2 years, we're unable to spend the 152 money, the way it works now is we send that money back. Now that we're block grant, come July 1st, at the end of next year, if my office still has $50,000, $60,000, we don't have to send it back. I can look at my counterparts, Kevin, his office, where they have a deficit, that money can be applied. There's the flexibility. So it's a good thing for us.
Yeah.
I mean, because my office personally has sent back the past 2 years. And that's really the last thing we want to do. We want to keep the money local and provide more services for the folks. And just so it's clear, these monies are specific. It's not that we can use them anywhere else in my office. I have to use them for specific reasons or send them back.
I feel closure. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Those are all the items I had. I believe Jim has.
Yes, I have.
Just before Kevin finishes, could you just give a quick Fairweather Lodge update?
Sure.
You and I spoke yesterday afternoon briefly, but if you could just pass that on.
Sure. As you know, we've been trying to get the Fairweather Lodge started in Lebanon for some time. We ran into some delays along the way and finally started what I say pounding nails, in terms of the physical plant just a couple of months ago. Our original implementation date, our opening date, had been January 1st of 2017. We certainly had to push that back, so we looked at July 1st as a new implementation date, and that was pretty aggressive. But we wanted the contractors to work in an aggressive way and push them to continue or to get things moving and to keep them moving. So anyway, to answer what Jamie was talking about, I go over there periodically to assess the progress and also to let them know that I'm watching. And they've made an awful lot of progress. We're very pleased with the progress they made. In fact, the on-site manager was saying that his boss was talking about actually a walkthrough this Friday, and he told him, we can't do it this Friday, and I was amazed because I mean, they've got the major work done, but they got a lot of painting and cleanup to do. So he said that the boss was talking about a walkthrough next Friday. So it'll be very nice. I'm still skeptical about next Friday for a walkthrough date, and things won't happen July 1st, but that was a target date, and we never really thought we'd make that. But we met with the provider again this week and had a great meeting to iron out some of the details on who's doing what when, and set up communications and so on. But the place looks very good. The team over there is doing a great job. The air conditioning is installed on the 3rd floor. They're putting a whole new system in for the remainder of the building, and that's nearly completed. They've put new flooring in, new bathroom fixtures. They've widened. Jamie had seen the dining room was fairly big, but the kitchen was tiny. They opened up the archway to combine them and extend the kitchen cabinetry into the dining room, and it's very open and very, very nice. We did have a scare when we had the fire across the alley, and I thought, oh no. But fortunately, we only had very minor damage. We had a couple of window panes broken in the bathroom on the 1st floor across the alley, and those have been repaired. So we were very fortunate, and certainly the firefighters deserve recognition for containing that and keeping it away from our building. Jamie and I were actually out on the roof after the fire because we saw photos in the Daily News of the firefighters standing on our new roof to fight the fire across the alley. And, there was no damage, so we were very, very fortunate for that as well. So we expect things to really start progressing and coming together in a very short period of time.
Becky, go